Hello, good day everyone. Thanks for joining me today at the 2017 Collab365 conference, where we are going to have a chat about project management in the cloud. My name is Edge Pereira. I am based in Australia and I work implementing project portfolio management solutions in the cloud. I come from a developer background and then I moved to a cloud security role, which then evolved, and now I am moved to a project management background. So I'm focusing on project management practices and integration with financial systems and other applications. I also often talk at local events in Australia. These events used to be very technical in nature. TechCat, I spoke at SharePoint Saturday, etc. But for the very best part of the last 2 years, my career has been pretty much focused on project management. So I tend to talk more on PM events actually currently. Anyway, regardless of the event, I think we are all here because we have something in common, which is the passion for technology and how to help the community spread the knowledge. These two topics are a constant in every event that we are. Well, anyways, this presentation is not about me, so I'll leave it here. My contact details also are, if you're watching this presentation live, excellent. I really appreciate your time. If you're not, this presentation is being recorded, so you can watch it later. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Hit me up. I'm leaving here my social media contact details, my email, my Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, the usual suspects. Anyway, okay, so before we start talking about project management in the cloud, allow me to set the scene quickly here about our objectives today. As you probably know, most organizations have decided they need to become more agile to ensure better services. And since cloud is already a well-known player in the scene, cloud is no more a mystery or something that's new as it was from a couple of years ago. Now, organizations also want the cost savings that come when moving to the cloud. The challenge here is this: there is a bewildering amount of contradictory information floating around on the internet about what is the cloud. And quite frankly, not many people really understand what that means or what it entails. So let's start there, okay? Our focus here is on the Office 365 toolset. So if you are in an organization considering moving to Office 365 as the first step in moving applications to the cloud hosted solutions, you will probably you face some similar inconsistencies and challenges, which makes it difficult to separate fact from fiction, what's myth and what's reality. So let me give you here an example of this. Some people, for example, incorrectly believe that Office 365 is simply a version of Office accessed by a browser. No, that's a very common issue. And that is just one of the misconceptions about what Office 365 is in the cloud that we would like to use this opportunity here in this presentation to rectify, which then brings us here to this presentation where we'll be myth busting. statements about Office 365, project management, and the cloud. This is a very important point to clarify because when considering Office 365 to be the engine that power your organization, you need to know and understand the facts. Your service depends on it. After all, software as a service is a cloud computing offering. Talking about service, let's make a parenthesis here and talk about a little bit about what cloud service offerings are. We do have the IaaS, which is the infrastructure as a service. We have the PaaS, PaaS, which is platform as a service. And we have the software as a service, SaaS. What it is software as a service? Well, software as a service, or as you can see simply by the acronym SaaS, is the software that it is owned, delivered, and managed remotely. In our case, this is done by Microsoft, and they deliver this based on a set of common code and interfaces which are done on a pay for use basis or as a subscription. Initially, SaaS was designed for small companies. The software as a service then has gradually extended to big corporations, multinational firms all over the world. For the reason of this, such is a widespread usage, SaaS has become an established model based on a full OPEX financial model. It's an operational expenditure financial model. However, software providers are not always matching the buzz around SaaS with their obvious benefits it offers. Software as a service also has a shorter time to market. This is one of the advantages of it. It means the full release cycles happens very quickly, much quicker than the traditional deliveries. This there is an expression that it is becoming quite prevalent now when it comes to software adoption, which is something called ergonomic value. Ergonomic value is the time required for the users to break that uncomfortable barrier created by change. The extremely quick release cycles and the often incremental features that are deployed make the ergonomic value and evolutivity of the projects in the cloud now a reality. Now, I know some of these concepts might be new to some of you, so please bear with me. You might think I might take a bit too long with all this talk about SaaS, but trust me, this is very important to put into context, which brings a very important lesson that is having a clear and defined cloud project delivery strategy is very important. And as important as this is also the idea of choosing your battles. A common mistake that the project management schools, the administration, the business schools continue teach their future project managers or administrators, but somehow they insist in fighting this idea. They pick the wrong battles. We will see that despite having all these tools, the cloud, the benefits, the ergonomy, IT projects, whether they are traditional or in the cloud, they continue to fail horrendously. And by failing, I'm talking about failure from the point of view of the stakeholder, which is missing the guidelines of time and budget. Projects fail, we will see, because people, not for the technology, people are commonly their biggest enemies, and they are what makes the project fail. Now, we talked about the traditional and cloud projects, and more specifically about failures, right? Let's try to have a positive outlook now this time and see how the usual challenges of traditional projects stack up versus what the cloud promises to fix, okay? So the top three traditional challenges are: the delivery takes too long to see, the projects take too long to finish. They have what we call a slow time to market. Another challenge is that traditional projects, they lack agility. Projects often have changes, and it is an onerous process to do course adjustment. And the third top one is one of the most important ones: cost. Delivering projects on budget, it is still a nightmare. So much so that I always say there are no easy projects. They are either hard on people or technology. Now, what a cloud solution, what is a software as service solution for the project management brings to the table? What does it fix? First of all, it gives high visibility and immediate results. The projects are organized in a way, in Project One, for example, that everyone has access to their necessary project data. Another good point is it is agile and it is innovative. SaaS solutions are always up to date and patched by a world class dedicated team. It has high availability using the best in class SLAs. It works on many devices and has collaboration features. And above all, it does not require a dedicated infrastructure for your company to maintain. And the cherry on the cake for this is, which will make all the finance people watching us today here, is cloud projects tends to be less expensive because they have a predictable OPEX model. Project management in the cloud has no CAPEX model. It has no depreciation over time. Excellent. Now, join me and let's have a ride around the top 10 myths of project management in the cloud. Myth number one: project management in the cloud is just project and Excel online. Well, of course not. Let's start by acknowledging that Office 365 is a suite of cloud based services, which also includes Excel Online and Project Online, but is not limited to it. Here we are talking about the whole Office suite: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneNote, etc. These applications. When we talk about project management in the cloud, we are talking Project Online. We are talking finance integration. We are talking integration with Power BI and insights and delivery of a more transparent and visible result. The verdict of this is a myth. Now, we are gonna see this gauge, this a little thermometer across the slides. Why I've put this thermometer in that way? It is because sometimes some points will tend to be a myth, some to be a reality, some is gonna be in between. And you will see that sometimes the answer is not very clear. You have to dig a little bit deeper to classify what is myth or is reality. Okay? So let's take this first slide as an example. Myth number two, portfolio project management in the cloud is hard to implement. Well, this is a tricky one. Implementing a project management toolset in the cloud takes in consideration a few pillars that require our special attention so we can actually address this properly. Business modeling, parametering, financial integration, which is integration, data migration, and steering and monitoring. Now, let's classify from the easy to hard, bringing them to the cloud. Okay, so let's classify them from easy to hard as we move them to the cloud. Business modeling. Well, since we talked that SaaS definitely has a quicker time to market and the design phase is generally easier and allows rapid prototyping, in this one, there is virtually zero focus on the technology. Project Online, Office 365, the technology just works. All the energy in this case goes to the business modeling instead. So, business modeling, going to the cloud, this is easy. Parametering, easy. I'll explain. To move from build to test to prod, that's easy, quite frankly. Project Online will never be a differentiator or any software for that matter in a SaaS practice. Changes are just deployed automatically by Microsoft to your customers, which is us, the consumers. So that is easy. Financial integration. Well, like we say here in Australia, yeah, but no, but yeah. Financial integration complexity is actually in the cloud is actually quite similar to traditional projects. As a matter of fact, it might be easier for simple solutions in a evergreen IT landscape. So I will give this a medium score. Data migration. Well, data migration is never easy. At minimum, this will be a medium. And it gets worse if it connects to various systems and services. The more systems and services your application is connected, the more complex it gets to go to the cloud. And the last but not the least, steering and monitoring. So dealing with steering committees and ongoing monitoring is never easy. It has to deal with people. It has politics. It has financial year objectives. Basically, people are in the way. So even if SaaS solutions accelerate the outcomes of the steering committee group, it is still paramount to keep a consistent and structured way of delivering projects. So I'll give this a medium score. The verdict? Well, based on these parameters, we can conclude that this is actually closer to reality than myth. So PPM in the cloud, it is hard to implement. It's hard not because it's cloud, but because of the nature of the beast. Project management, portfolio management is a hard discipline regardless. Okay? Number three, my company is not big enough to have a project portfolio capability in the cloud. A lot of people still believe that project online is only about schedule and resource management. Many also believe that project online does not have the necessary governance controls to truly manage a project from zero to hero, which clearly is not true. Project Online does have powerful workflows to manage the project stages. Coming from the field, I can clearly confirm to you, my friends, that the real issue here is some administrators and PMOs are still frustrated that they need the developer to integrate the appropriate business rules and controls at each project workflow stage. Not only this, but the frustration only grows if changes are needed. What's the agility of that, right? So the answer to this is to train PMOs so they can learn tools like SharePoint Designer to build, maintain, and publish workflows. So the real complaint here is not that Project Online does not offer the capabilities, but instead that PMOs, the people dealing with project management portfolios and administration, need to lose their fear of becoming effective power users. Power users, that's the key word. The verdict, well, hmm, I'm a bit divided, but I'm still going to classify this as leading to the myth side. Number four, my project data will be exposed to the hackers in the cloud. That is a top fear many organizations have about the cloud. But quite frankly, this is unfounded. Chances are, if your company is not in the cloud, that your IT team manages access, sets up rights and restrictions, and provides smartphones access and options. So the IT department still does this. All this remains true in the cloud. What changes is that the bunker where your data is stored is a top grade fortress with incredible layers of complexity and security, which, quite honestly, you don't need to learn, you just need to understand. In the cloud, your company continues to be the sole owner of your data. You retain the rights, the title, and interest in the data stored by Project Online. Besides that, Project Online, as like all the other Office 365 online services, they operate under several key principles when it comes to safeguarding data. For example, Unlike other cloud providers, Microsoft will not mine your data for advertisement, okay? Or for any other purpose other than providing you services that you have paid for. So much so that if your company decides to leave Office 365 and Project Online altogether, Microsoft will give you back all your data and won't keep any of it. What's more, privacy controls. There are very stringent privacy controls that allows you to configure who in your organization has access and what they can access. And all this under the umbrella of an extensive auditing and supervision that prevents admins from unauthorized access to your data. That kind of security grade is approved and homologated by the United States government. Quite frankly, if it is good enough to pass the veto of the US government, it is good enough for your company. Nowadays, the security level offered by SaaS solutions like Project Online, that's incredible. That is top notch. Microsoft inclusive is usually actually it has that security is usually many orders of magnitude higher than most companies set for themselves. So, so much so that the question should be the other way around. Why is your company not storing the data in the clouds? So, the verdict for this, it's a myth. Number five, there are no or there are poor options for reporting tools in Project Online. Again, this is a case of misinterpretation, a gap of what the company selling the Project Online demo to you and what you actually find out of the box. You know, all those pretty cool dashboards, the shiny reports, they set expectation too high. They create an illusion that those solutions can easily support any reporting requirement. But in fact, what these demo solutions are, they are set up in advance for a reason, which is to sell you the sizzle, not the meat, as we say in Australia. However, if I must say, reporting is actually one of the strengths of Project Online. Project Online is built on top of SharePoint, that billion-dollar juggernaut from Microsoft, which literally has crushed the collaboration market to pieces for many years already. SharePoint is a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, and Project Online integrates really well with the Microsoft BI stack, which is also a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader, which includes SQL reporting services, Excel services, Power BI, etc. Your PMOs using Project Online can leverage a mix and match of all sorts of data, just doing drag and drop actions and create reports on demand on the fly. So, no, this is a myth. Number six, my team, including myself, including me, we are not ready to collaborate in project online. That's nonsense. Everyone with minimal training is ready to take on cloud collaboration. It is much harder to learn how to use an iPhone, and these little things they come to us without any user manual. And one day later, everybody is an iPhone master. Remember that we talked about ergonomic values? Very well. Project online interfaces with the users are definitely high in the ergonomic scale. They are user friendly. They live inside your very well known friend, the browser. Project Online uses a pragmatic and evaluative approach on user engagement. Just a quick look at the interface, and you will see that the functionalities are restricted to the best it has to offer, and the user sees only the most valuable ones. No point in seeing task management options at the project center homepage, for example. The browser is such a powerful tool for user convenience that even traditional software is now providing solutions running on the browser. Another great point on ergonomy is that because the browser is standardized, heavy customization is not required. This is why the browser became such a key lever to ensure people are aligned in the same path and make change management easier, which in turn improves employee satisfaction. So, this is a myth, but it is conditional to your belief to give it Project Online a fair go. So, if you give it a fair go, and if you forget about your fears, this is a myth. If you fear technology, that will probably be a reality. Number seven, project managers need to have technical knowledge of the clouds. Nope. I work day in, day out with project managers. Okay? Project managers of all sorts, levels, and skills. Senior project managers, junior project managers, associate project managers, okay? Project managers that are from different backgrounds than they work, they are handling and managing. So from different areas. And they all use Project Online. And guess what? They do just fine. All right? This is a very powerful project management myth. As powerful as saying IT project managers need to come from the IT background. That sort of myth, it needs debunking fast and now. Just like any project, they do not need to have the technical skills of the work they are going to manage. Instead, they need the understanding to get the work done. As you know, this is what project managers need to do every single day. Project managers using Project Online don't need to be experts in IT or any Microsoft product for this matter. So, no, this is a myth. Number eight, projects in the cloud are not evolutive. Well, here's another concept that many of you might know, but that I would like to elaborate just a little bit to make sure that we are all in the same page. What evolutive means? We say that a solution is evolutive when new functionalities are implemented seamlessly, has real-time scaling, has minimal infrastructure management, and is digital. Okay, so this is the definition. Very well. Project Online offers seamless upgrades. It brings new functionalities from time to time, delivered transparently to all the users, and it and those features they do not require vigorous testing by the people using at the companies. Like any SharePoint Online solution, it offers real-time consumption, monitoring, and auto scaling according to the load, which is the number of users using the site. Like any other Office 365 workload, it does not require infrastructure management from your part or any related costs to it. There's no associated costs to it direct to you. And the obvious one, Project Online runs in the cloud. Cloud is digital, digital is cloud. That's it. Verdict, this is a myth. Number 9, cloud project management software is expensive. Again, this is a tricky one. So let's break it down into a few points. Let's classify the project costs again in business modeling, parametering, integration, data migration, and steering and monitoring. These are very common pillars for a project cost category. What the cloud will reduce? What of this? Business modeling, okay? Parametering and steering and monitoring. These three, the cloud will reduce the cost. What will remain virtually the same cost? Financial integration, data migration. Now, there is a graph from Gartner that shows the costs of a SaaS solution over 6 years. And we are going to see that, interestingly, when compared against the total cost of ownership of traditional solutions and cloud solutions, the cloud solutions have a slightly higher total cost of ownership. Oh, that's a curious one. And according to Gartner, three things impact here, okay? First one is that upgrading costs are very cheap. With traditional solutions, a major upgrade can add significant costs. Whilst in the cloud, with that quick cycle of various instant upgrades, the value creation quickly amounts to the benefits of the user. The other point is unplanned demands and extra features can add costs. We are talking here on things like faster broadband network, new customizations, etc. The third one is also that a SaaS solution is more expensive generally after year 4. This is driven from annual costs of licenses that gets hiked up every year. These are running costs, okay? In the other hand, this is the price you pay to have your solution always up to date with current technology trends. You are always going to be uh, on with the markets. You move together with the market. So The verdict here is that project management solution in the cloud is not really expensive, but it's not cheaper. So I'll put this marker in the middle, about 50-50, slightly leaning on the myth side. Number 10, every project in the cloud, in Project Online, needs a schedule. Uh, Finally, please allow me close this list down with probably the most common thing I hear in every project. And let me tell you in advance, this is a myth, okay? I think this one started because Microsoft project was initially a desktop scheduling tool, something like Excel for schedules, okay? However, this app grew to become the world's most recognized scheduling software. Have a walk around the project management offices in your company, and you can see that virtually every project manager has Microsoft Project installed. And not only this, they probably started their career by learning that to start a project, you need to first create a schedule. Project Online is a far cry from this. Microsoft created a web repository that consolidated all the schedules created on the desktop. That thing eventually became what we know as Project Server. Many years later, Project Server has evolved and Project Online has come up with many powerful capabilities, okay, which is an evolution of it. And yet, the idea that the project needs a schedule still persists. We are now in 2017, and Project Online understands that organizations, departments, and people manage projects differently, while acknowledging that schedules may only be required at a certain point in the project lifecycle. So, no, this is a myth. And please, if you need to take away one key point from this talk, make it this one. So, we have come to the end of our presentation. So, let's recap what we talked about. We talked about why go to the cloud. Then we talk about the software as a service model, which is the solutions that Project Align is inserted. Then we talked about traditional versus cloud projects, and then went down the path of the top 10 myths versus reality of project management in the cloud misconceptions. Well, with that, we have come to the end of how can we run projects in the cloud and discussing what is myth and what it is reality. Uh, we talked about all the powerful capabilities of Office 365, Azure, and awesome uh, people techniques. I'm going to leave here my contact details. Feel free to reach out, uh, contact me, hit me up on the website, on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I always love to have a chat with people about project management in the cloud. So feel free to stay in touch. Have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best, success in your projects, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned because we have a lot more great sessions in the Collab 365 2017 edition. See you later. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.